Hopefully it works this time. Okay, looks like we're getting sound now. Um, that was annoying. Hopefully all of you amazing people who were here like 2 minutes ago are able to find this new stream. I'll give you guys a few minutes to hop on. That was really annoying. And I don't know why that happened. The only thing I can think that must have happened is I was trying to use these stupid AirPods on this computer, and for some reason they connected to this big computer, and it was really annoying. Last time I used my just the ones that are connected specifically to my phone, so it was really annoying. Sorry about that. That was so frustrating. Hate to make you guys sit there looking at me trying to troubleshoot this when I don't know what the heck is going on. YouTube really should have a feature. If this does not exist already, I'm like so annoyed. But anyway, they should really have a feature that you can switch the input while you're in the middle of live streaming, right? Like, doesn't that make perfect sense? When I'm recording something like a podcast or yeah, I guess just a podcast, when I'm recording something on my audio software, I can switch the input whenever I want and tell it, hey, this is coming from a new microphone now. And that's how I'm used to doing like audio recording and audio mixing. So apparently YouTube does not know how to do that. So that's annoying. That happened to me once before. I tried to like put my headphones into the computer and it I had them plugged in and then I unplugged them right before I got on the live stream, like as it was loading, and there was no sound. So it's happened to me before, and I need to just figure out how to not have this happen. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. So frustrating. I feel like a lot of you guys might not come back because you don't know what happened, but a lot of you came back on, so thank you for sticking with me. So anyway, we're in the middle of a break, so I'm gonna ask Kate if she's there to get me a different pair of headphones. Actually, you know what? I might have. I don't know. I can't remember where I put my other headphones now. I think they're in the yeah. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm trying to get Kate to bring me my other headphones. Anyway, how did your first writing sprint go? Tell me in the chat. Looks like you guys got some words in. I'm going to answer some questions, and this break already went way too long, but whatever. We're just going to roll with it. Okay, let's see. The chat always goes too fast for me. This is from McKenna, how can you decide between two love interests for your book when your MC loves them both for different reasons? Ooh, I love this question. This is actually something that I wrote kind of recently, and still writing it. So yeah, I may have mentioned that the Lighthouse book has a love triangle in it. It has a love triangle in it, and so that's kind of the same thing, like two love interests, and that is one of my favorite things to write. I really love triangles. I've always really liked them if they're well done. As far as choosing what love interest should they be with, I think like ultimately how I choose it is by asking myself, like, in the long term, what is like the most like compatible relationship. Thank you so much.
It's so funny. I asked you in the chat if you wanted me to bring you those, and it like went by so quickly you didn't see it. And then 2 seconds later, you were like,
I saw the message.
I need Kate to bring me one.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hate these stupid AirPods sometimes. So frustrating. Anyway, we'll do things analog. How about that? I know that these are Bluetooth, but sometimes Bluetooth isn't always better. I mean, sometimes it gets majorly screwed up. So yeah, about the love interests. I think that what I usually gauge it on is like, in long term, how will these two characters be together? Like, will they have like one couple will definitely have a better, stronger relationship long term. Okay, so that I think is a good way to decide. Because even though you like your character with both characters, it's not really like there's one that's going to be better for both of them long term. So yeah, I usually go based off of that. But then, you know, that might not be the direction you want to take with your story. So that's just what I personally do. How do you write about car accidents in third person with detail? I'd write it the same way that you would write in first person. You could actually write it in first person if you wanted to. If you're not writing it third person omniscient, if you're writing like third person close, I would recommend, this is just what I personally do, write it in first person and then just like change all of the pronouns. Is that what they're called? I don't even know. Change all the pronouns to be like third person. So instead of, you know, I, it's the character's name, obviously. And then that will make it like feel more rich and detailed and more like you're in the character's skin, even though you're reading it from third person. That's just my preferred method for writing third person because I don't naturally write third person very well. Thank you for the super chat from Madeline or Madeline. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Just wanted to thank you for inspiring and motivating so many people to show up for themselves and their stories. Thank you so much, Madeline. I so appreciate that. I'm so glad that these live streams inspire you guys, even when I have technical difficulties. You guys are great. Rebecca, how do I write fluff/feel good happy scenes without it seeming cheesy? I love fluffy, happy, feel good stories. So this is a great question because a lot of fluffy stories can come across as being like shallow, which is obviously not what you're aiming for. I think what helps this so much is to have a good mixture of the two. Okay, so having serious scenes and even carrying over those serious threads into your fluffy scenes. So if you have a lot of like fluffy, cozy, fun scenes that you want to write, that's a good basis for like, it's good context for when your characters then are having like difficulties with their relationships or having conflict, external conflict and problems with their whatever relationships. Then you can contrast that with like when they were really happy and together and having, you know, fun, fluffy, cute times together. Okay. So being super vague here, obviously, but that contrast helps to make both types of scenes matter. So when you're in the fluffy, cute scenes, you are thoroughly enjoying reading that because it's like cozy and lovely, but it's contrasted with something more serious and more conflicted. There's more conflict going on in other scenes. So to have that contrast, I think is a good, it creates good balance. And also bringing the serious inner conflict into your fluffy scenes, even if it's just like externally only something fluffy and cute and chill is happening, your characters can still be inwardly dealing with their inner conflict and struggles. And that's what makes those scenes feel more meaningful. Okay, let's see. What is my favorite trope? I have so many, so many favorites. I would say probably enemies to lovers romance is my favorite trope because I like consistently find myself obsessing over that and like writing it into almost everything I write and seeking it out in other stories. So I think that's probably my favorite trope. But like I love so many different romance tropes. Is it possible to have 2 point of views in one chapter instead of one per chapter? I think you can style your story as far as like writing style and the structure of chapters however you want, as long as you are not head hopping. Okay, so head hopping is different from switching point of views twice in a chapter. It's when you're like switching back and forth between sentences, and you probably have heard of it before. Head hopping is something that you don't want to do pretty much ever unless you're writing third person omniscient and you as the omniscient narrator can see into everybody's head. But that's like a very small niche of writing, and not a lot of people write in that. So I think however you end up structuring your chapters is just your style, but I would stick with whatever you choose so that it's not like jarring to your reader and they're not like, whoa, why are we switching point of views in the middle of a chapter? And it's more like, okay, this is what we do, this is what this book is like. Okay, so I think once you choose a style, it can be anything you want, but once you choose a style, like stick with it, and that will become something that your reader comes to expect. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question, then we're gonna get back into writing because this break has lasted too long because of my technical difficulties. Well, these comments go by so quickly. Where'd that go? Where did it go? How to pace properly. Good question. I actually made a whole video about that. Highly recommend checking it out. It's one of my favorite videos, actually. It didn't get as many views as some of my other videos, but I really like this video. It's all about pacing and description and how they're basically the same thing. Description basically is pacing and, of course, dialogue and stuff like that. But the length of time that it takes a person to read something is what creates pacing. And so I like explained it in kind of a broken down analytical way in that video. Definitely check it out. If you just type in Abby Emmons pacing, it should be the first thing that comes up on YouTube. I really like that video. I actually case study a few stories and a few examples of pacing and description and show how you can learn a lot about pacing from reading screenplays. So yeah, check that out. I think you will get a lot of good information out of that video. Okay, I'm going to answer more questions in the next break. Let's get to our next writing sprint. 25 minutes on your timer. I promise I won't break the live stream this time. I'm not going to use these AirPods. I'm going to save those for some time when I am not on live because Bluetooth, man, Bluetooth can like single-handedly wreck everything. It's crazy. But that's okay because these headphones still match my aesthetic. So everything's okay. 25 minutes on the timer. Let's go. Writing sprint number 2. You should hear my timer ring.
Timer number 2. And thankfully, my mic is still working. Yay! How was writing sprint number 2? Let me know in the chat. Didn't get as much writing done as I wanted to just then. Sometimes it's weird. It's like I'm really in the groove, and then if I stop for any reason, it becomes more difficult. Ugh. I guess that's just the writing life. It's unpredictable. That must be why we're so addicted to it. And it's just so much fun because we can never predict it. If it's going to be a good writing day or not. I also forgot to post an update yesterday. Sorry about that. Awesome. So, yay, 489 words, 1,002 sprints. Wow, that is amazing. 183. I didn't write many either. 200, 500. Awesome. Well done, guys. You're doing great. Excellent writing. Let's see how many I wrote. Probably not many. Like 300. Oh,
well. Um, it's not always easy, right? But keep up the good work. You guys are doing awesomely. I'm going to answer a few questions and we can get into our third sprint. Question from Charusi. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. What are your favorite misbeliefs to use in stories? That's a good question. I feel like I do different like misbeliefs every time, but I tend to like, I think every writer tends to kind of gravitate towards the same themes in a way, like the same umbrella themes, I guess. I usually gravitate towards themes of like self-worth and like what really matters in life as far as like themes of love and family. Those are things that are always like really important to me that I find myself repeatedly like coming back to and writing a lot because I really like writing about that. So usually the misbeliefs of my characters have something to do with like thinking that they believe that they're like not worthy, or they have like a wrong idea of like what happiness is. And usually it bends towards like a theme of love, even if that's not romantic love, or if it's just like family relationships, which is some of my favorite relationships to write, is like family relationships and siblings. Let's see. From Raquel, how do you do research for a fantasy novel in a made-up world with made-up species, places, etc.? I don't really think that there's a ton of research to be done when you are making up a fantasy of your own imagination. It is a good idea to keep track of the rules of the world and to make sure that you have all the rules working together so that nothing is contradictory and there are no plot holes. Obviously, that's important. And my favorite way to organize all of that is in Scrivener, by the way, of course. But it can be like literally anything you want for fantasy. However, if you're trying to kind of fashion it after something that exists in the real world, it can be fun to do that. And I'd recommend just finding some good books or even like really accurate, historically accurate shows and films that center around whatever you're drawing inspiration from. That can be really, really helpful as well. But if it's fantasy, you can do anything you want, which is the beauty of fantasy. Super chat, thank you so much to Not Sorry Just Max. Your content is beyond valuable. You were like a warm hand that guided me through the fog on this journey. My outline is 50% done and has 20,000 words. Wouldn't have been possible without you. Damn. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that my videos have been helpful and inspiring to you. That means so much to me. And awesome job on the outline. That's so exciting. And I totally feel that because my outlines get really long and detailed, but it's better to have a detailed outline and know exactly where you're going and feel super confident in your story, and to know that I won't have to like do a ton of rewriting and editing when this is done because it's going to be like solid. That the peace of mind that comes with that is just invaluable to me. So yeah, my glass is like dripping all over my desk. If you see me like obsessively wiping it, that's what I'm doing. Another super chat. Thank you so much to Avianya. I'm sorry. I'm so bad with pronouncing names. Ivanya. Hopefully that's how you say it. Thanks for hosting this super helpful live session, Abby. What would be your number one tip for someone who is writing a short story? I actually made a whole video about writing short stories, so check that out as well. That wasn't posted too long ago, so that should be pretty recent on my channel. Number one tip for writing short stories, it's really not that much different from writing a larger story, okay? A story that's longer and more complex. Because it still has to matter to the characters, and the characters still have to have internal conflict. So it's not so much like coming up with a good event or a good plot as much as it is about coming up with a compelling internal journey for your main character. And that internal journey can last like only a couple of days or a day or a single event. But as I always say on this channel, if your characters don't change as a result of their journey, then your reader is left wondering, why does anything matter? Why do I care? Right? So making it matter to your characters is the most important thing. Even if you're writing a short story, something that is not long, it's, you know, maybe just an event or something. So number one piece of advice for writing a short story and all stories is making it matter to your characters, because story is not about what happens. It's about how it happens, affects and transforms the characters. Okay. And I made a whole video about that. So definitely check it out. About short stories, that is. About the other thing, yeah, pretty much every other video is about that. How do you know when you are done editing your novel? Oh, that's tricky, because you could technically edit forever, right? Like we've talked about that before. Editing is something that could go on forever, because you can constantly find ways to improve your writing. And that's a good thing, of course, but there has to come a time when you're like, okay, this is done. It's going to the editor. It's going to a beta reader, whatever. How I personally decide that is when I feel confident that I have told the story that I wanted to tell, and that other people think so too. Okay, so if you have a few trusted beta readers, that is where I look to for that feedback, not just going off of my own sense of, yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good enough. Asking trusted beta readers after they read it, how do what did you get from this story? I have a whole video about beta readers and questions you should ask them after they read your story. And once you ask them those questions, if you feel content with the responses you get, I think it's time to send the book to a professional editor and then implement those edits, and then go down the road of ARC readers, all of that. And there's still time to make changes if you're worried about something being wrong with it. So definitely don't panic about that. Don't overthink it too much, but try to be okay with sending it off to somebody. Thank you to another super chat. I see a bunch of super chats coming in. Thank you guys so much. First one is from Ridge View. Thank you. Would you consider expanding this to more than once a week? Collectively, I am very productive. I would love to do more of these more often, but honestly, like, I don't know if I would have the time to do it, because it's just like my schedule is so crazy. Like even with a writing retreat, it's like, yeah, this is a retreat. I'm on retreat. Please just let me be on retreat. But it's still a lot going on in my life, so in my schedule. So I don't know if I can extend these to more than once a week, but I do want to do an extra live stream soon, and probably honestly going to be like this weekend. Probably not a writing live stream, but we're going to be celebrating because the community is reaching 100,000 people. It's so exciting. Next super chat, thank you so much, is from Vinny. Thank you for hosting this, Abby. Love your vids. Question: how do you know when you've done enough research in world building to start writing the actual story? That's a great question, especially if you're writing something that requires a lot of research, like historical fiction. But even if you're writing something like fantasy and you have a lot of world building to do, I think there can be a point where preparation becomes procrastination, even without making that conscious decision. Okay, so if you feel like you've fallen into this area where you really would like to start writing, but you feel like intimidated by it because you're like, what if I didn't do enough research? What if I haven't done enough world building? And now it's just like stressing you out. I think that's the point where it's like, okay, you can start. And if you run into something that is not like a huge problem as far as like it's not related to the plot and the actual events of the plot and the actual character journeys, and it's something that you need to research, just add a note and research it later. Okay. And I make that distinction because you might not want to add a note and research something later if it's a big component of your book. Okay. So if it's something really significant, like, I don't know, like a historical event or a war or something, and then you write, like, you construct this huge element of your plot around this specific historical event, and then come to find out that historical event didn't even happen in that year, and now it's like you're totally screwed. That's a problem, obviously. So you don't want to fall into that problem. So for the big things, for the important things, yeah, research those ahead of time. But once you have all of those and you've pretty much outlined, this is why outlining is really helpful. You've outlined, you know, what are the big plot points that I'm going to hit that I'll be encountering, like historical things and things that need to be correct, well researched. Once you have those in place, just start writing and do the rest later, and just make notes to yourself. That would be my advice for that. Okay, super chat again. Thank you to Star. Keep staying awesome. Thank you for all your videos. They're helpful. I am at the point where I'm going to start writing after planning a lot. Awesome. Go you. That is so, so exciting. Best of luck. Let's see. The chat is like scrolling by so quickly. Thank you to Amy. Thank you for the super chat, and also to Star. Just sending another because why not? Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Another super chat from Adam. Thank you so much. I plotted my entire story, but I'm really bad at starting to write. What's the best way to come into a writing mode after plotting? Ooh, there's definitely a difference there. Because some days, like, I don't feel like writing at all, but I will like plot a ton and it feels really great and I get a lot of plotting done. So they're like two different mindsets for sure. I think whatever you notice gets you in a creative mood to write. Like, what are the times that you have like really good writing days? What else are you doing during your day or maybe before your writing session that gets you in the writing mood, gets you inspired? I like to just notice those things about myself and my own lifestyle, and then strategically make those things happen that then trigger the creative process for me. I also think it's important to remember that creativity is an action. It's not necessarily something that has to happen first and then you can create. You can just create. And the state of flow sometimes comes later on, okay? Like, you start a writing session, maybe you don't feel like you're really in flow, but then as you continue and you push through and you just keep writing, the feeling of creative flow just comes. So I think it's important to just set yourself up for success in those ways, as far as lifestyle things, and also even if you don't feel necessarily super creative, staying open-minded and letting that state of flow come to you through the act of creating, not just waiting for it to come and then creating. So yeah, that would be my advice for that. Definitely all kinds of writing days, right? There are so many different types of writing days, and they're all good because they all bring us closer to our goals. Thank you to Molly for the super chat. I so appreciate it. Okay, guys, I think I answered all the super chat comments, and I think we've gone way over our time for our break. So I'm going to put the timer on for our next sprint, writing sprint. And I might end up doing, I'm sorry, I might end up doing only 3 again this time because we're running out of time again, all because of my technical difficulties earlier. Ugh, sorry about that. Okay, so it's 25 minutes again, okay? 25 minutes on the timer. We're gonna do one more sprint and then probably call it a day for this session because I'm out of time. Okay, 25 minutes on the timer. I'm gonna talk to you guys during the break, okay? So let's go. Oh. My ice melted. sad. Okay, I'll stop talking. Okay. There's the timer. End of writing sprint. How did it go? Let me know in the chat. And yeah, that one probably was my best one, honestly. It's hard to tell like how many words I actually wrote because I kept like going back and editing sentences, and that's just like some days that's how it goes. That's how I write. It's just like, I don't like the way that sounds, and I'll like rewrite the sentence a million times. So yeah, apparently it's one of those days. Yeah. But again, I've been at this for a while, so it's like my brain is getting tired because I've been writing pretty much since I woke up this morning. I know it's super late for some of you guys. 597, 900, 800, wow. 400, 300, 1200. Oh my goodness, you guys are amazing. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys had a good writing sprint and a good writing session. I am super glad that you guys were able to join me today for this live stream writing session. And again, I wish it could go longer, but I'm out of time, so I have to go. But we're going to do this next week as well. And next week, I promise I won't have any technical problems. Again, sorry about that annoying business with the microphone. That won't happen next time. I still don't understand why YouTube doesn't let you like change microphone inputs in the middle of a live stream. If something goes wrong, they really need to fix that. Somebody tell them, please. Maybe I'll write to them, tell them, hey, this is a problem. Okay, so yeah. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join me today. Thank you guys so much for all the amazing support and for showing up here and for the super chats. Another one just came in. Thank you so much to Danny Grimm. Thank you for the super chat. I'm so appreciative of your support. All of you guys are so amazing. I love seeing you guys show up here, and being able to write with you is amazing. And I look forward to it every time I do this. And this month, I look forward to it every week. So next week, we're going to be writing together again, and I will see you then. And until then, I'm going to be posting daily updates in the community tab on my YouTube channel. So every day, every night for me, I post an update there. I forgot to do it yesterday, but going forward, I'm going to do it every day. And I just like give a little update on my writing day and ask you guys about yours, and we chat there as well. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for showing up on this live stream today. It was super fun to write with you, and I look forward to writing with you again next week. And thank you again for all the support and for subscribing. Maybe we'll have a live stream before next Wednesday to celebrate 100K. We'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes open for posts and updates on that. But until then, have a wonderful rest of your day and week, if you are actually like already into tomorrow, if the day is over. Okay, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. And until next time, rock on.